And we are live, and we have an exciting day because today it is all about, and if I click here, the engines and booster packs. Now, I separated these out, so there's an engine pack and a booster pack, just simply because at a certain point it got a little overwhelming, and I wanted to show you this today. Now, I did want to start with just a quick thing. The SLS pack still has its core booster in there, and it has been swapped out with these new boosters that are going to be in the booster pack. So when you update the SLS system for that pack, these boosters are going to disappear and you'll get them out of the booster pack just like you get engines out of the engine pack. So here we go. This is crazy. And yeah, I wanted to give you a quick thing. So these are the upgraded boosters. I've already switched them out. They have the left side indicator because apparently I missed that and somebody told me I should have it. You can take the squares off and the little lines that indicate where it is, and you can have a line. So you can have this like cool, sleek looking booster. Now, obviously, if we're doing a block 1, which is what this is set up as a launch, we can do that. And obviously, as you can see here, the engines at the bottom are the RS-25s, the new RS-25s. So just going to do a quick little launch here to show you these new boosters, and then we're going to go into everything the pack has, because there's like, I think 15, 16, or 17 new engines and boosters combined. I went a little overkill. So yeah, sit back, relax if you're going to grab a drink, because we got an hour and it's going to be amazing. And if you are watching on the replay, just simply ask a question. And if you're watching live, Prime and Cedric apparently are here. They are the moderators. They have little wrenches. Whatever they say, go. And if they get really upset and they ping me to ping you, you will be muted from the channel, because we want to keep everyone happy and avoid as much spam as possible. So hopefully this is going to work, because I literally just finished this booster pack like a minute ago. I'm not joking. So we're going to fire the boosters here, and we can fire the engines as well. And you can see, if you haven't played with this yet, boosters are amazing. They work really well. Now, with these boosters, however, they don't need separators. And this is the one thing I'm going to say with the I'm going to call them the Shuttle variant boosters. You don't have to use separators with them. With the rest of the boosters you do, because these will self-separate. And the reason for that is because they have retro rockets in it. Yes, Cedric, that is why I, at 12:59, had to re-update this pack, because I had to add retro booster fire into every single freaking of these boosters because of you. So, yeah. We're going to blame Cedric if this doesn't work. So first click activates the boosters, and then second click activates the retrofire boosters and the separators. So you can't just click these on, off, on, off, on, off. It's on and then detach and fire. And obviously the ignition has to be on in order for the retrofire rockets to go. If they're not, they're not. It's not the end of the world. But just FYI, if you're wondering why that doesn't work. So there we go. And then as you can see here, the engines now have a little burn off too. Yay, thanks Cedric. And then if we actually fire these off, you can see they have little retro burners and they go bye-bye. Woo! Isn't that amazing? I have no idea how long they last, because this is the first time I test them. I am glad I put the numbers correctly and they didn't accidentally like fire into the vessel, because if you go negative, sometimes weird stuff happens. So there you go. And then this is the SLS and the remainder of it. We don't really worry too much about this, because this is not going to be part of the engine and booster pack. So we're going to go back to the build screen, and I'm going to show you quickly, if we revert to build here, awesome, some of the other boosters. Simply because this is what we have, and I got a lot of boosters. So I have a giant pile of stuff. Thank you, Barosh, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right, for all the Saturn stuff. If you haven't checked out his Saturn pack, Apollo Saturn pack, check it out, because he's got a lot. But down here you got this is mine, then my Artemis. This is not done yet, so don't get too excited. That's going to probably be mid October. The Artemis project is right here. I'm adding a whole bunch of stuff into it for V2. And then here's the boosters. So we're going to see if I can find that booster. So this is the variant 2 booster. And if we scroll in here, it looks very similar. However, it has this little section here and this little section here. Those are the retro fire rockets, and theoretically they work. I'm assuming they work, and we can quickly test that by doing this. hitting the launch button, hitting on, full power, and then going retrofire, retrofire. Look, they work. Perfect. Awesome. So those are the retrofire rockets on the version 2 boosters, which do come with this booster pack. So you already sort of have I guess you could almost do I guess it's a 1B-2 variant of the SLS system if you wanted to. So that's cool. And then we have a bunch of other boosters. So in the Booster Plus, we have these guys here. These are the separators. You have your regular separator size, and then you have these guys here that are 0.25. And the reason for that is because a lot of the boosters don't actually sit on the 0.0 grid. They sit slightly off because they are 1.5 meters is what I found a lot of them are. So I made this so that you can actually connect to them because these guys obviously don't fit. So that's there. And then if you gotta really get fancy, you have this guy here, and this guy here is adjustable. So you can have it where if you want to hold your boosters or other rockets, you know, really far off, you can actually set it up like this and have it where this will actually work and detach. And I know these all work and they work as expected. And this one here detaches, so it's a cool little truss system. You can try to do that and add them in. So if we just go like this, and oops, we'll go like this for a second here. You can see here that they are going to sit on the side. This, if I launch it, obviously it's going to be sitting on the side here, and you can go like this, click, and they detach, and the rocket explodes. But we'll get into that in a second. Revert to build. And if you're wondering about the engines, we'll get to the engines, but the boosters are sort of the big new thing, and I'll cover some of the engines, because the engines, I've really gone over with the net engines, but the boosters are the new thing. So the boosters have it where you can take the aero cone on and off. All boosters have some type of aerodynamic cone, and you take it on and off like so. These engines here, because they are firing, they actually do fire in this direction. So if you were flying and you detach them, this bottom part will push itself into the rocket. So these ones here, like the AJ60A and the entire gem booster series, which is basically all the gems properly sized to the various numbers, which I do not know how to put into the system, but we'll get to it at some point. There we go. These all have boosters that are side firing. So if you detach them, the bottoms will push in and the tops will obviously naturally fall out. And like these guys here, they all have the aerodynamic cone, and you can put something on top if you want. So that's those. And then we have, what do we have next? Yeah, those are the gem boosters. And then, yeah, so we have the SLS boosters are second. Then we have the Artemis. Now, if you saw my Artemis video, you probably saw these Artemis boosters. I currently don't have the Artemis section of the pack currently installed because I had to pull it out because I was doing stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing at the last minute. But maybe I'll get this to fit on top. Let's see if that actually fits. Sometimes the stuff matches up. I'm pretty sure it does. It does not. No, it does. Got to delete that. There we go. This might actually sit on top. Cool. It might not. Okay. Maybe. We'll see. So this is the Artemis booster. Now, the Artemis booster here has it where it actually, if I go here and click on it, is that it actually has a couple things. So number one, you can have the cone. And you can have the cone, or it'll go to the interstate, and then you can take the lines on and off. If you go with the cone, then it'll still work just as it normally does. However, you can't really fit anything on top of the cone. Whereas if you go like this, it's there. And if you go like that, you can launch this guy. It's going to launch. Oh my goodness. It's awesome. So this is like the Ares 0.5. And you can sort of do that. And then when you say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and you have to kind of wait for the engine to finish, because trying to basically detach a booster while it's firing is extremely dangerous. So we're gonna tilt this up here. So we're going. We're gonna go into space. Dang it. Okay. So one of the things with this booster is it does have an umbrella system to make it recoverable, but we have to actually engage it. Because you can't deploy the umbrella in the vacuum. So there's actually an umbrella that comes out, but if you get into space, it won't deploy. And then it'll just spin off like that. And yeah, that wild spin is a little bit crazy, but I might update it. Anyway, we're back to build. So there we go. So we have these rockets. The indicators here are like this. This side here, this little pipe here indicates that that side is the side that you don't attach to, because it's going to go this way. And when I release the booster pack, which will be approximately 30 minutes after the live stream, because I just need to go and make a few little minor tweaks, that basically will fire and avoid the thing slamming into stuff and spinning away like a freaking tomahawk. So that's what we have so far, and that's the set of boosters. So we're going to quickly here just do a thing, because we're not quite done with the boosters. Yeah, there's a lot of boosters, and I haven't even gotten to some of the crazy ones yet. The crazy ones. So here we go. We're going to build I think we'll build it 6 wide. So we're going to take ASOD's giant shuttle cockpit, which is kind of cool because we're going to need the extra weight. These boosters are crazy powerful, and I just don't want to overdo it. So there we go. We put the weight there. We're going to go and do our classic. We're going to move this thing over here. It gets a little crowded. Pico space. And we're going to go to the booster plus screen, and I'm going to show you a couple neat things. So what did I say? So let's take a gem booster. Let's take this guy here because, well, that's new. And we'll line the gem booster up. And then we'll go here. Instead of with 5, there we go. And we'll go like this. And we'll move it over here. And the thrust is 100. Right. So we clearly need more boosters. So I'm going to scroll and grab one of these guys at the bottom because I haven't shown you guys these guys yet. So these are the, I don't remember what they're called, the SR20s, 120 boosters. Again, you can take the arrow cone on off if you want. And we're just going to go like this, duplicate here and here, and we'll move that there. Oh yeah, this is a disaster waiting to happen. But I wanted to show you guys a quick little flight, and yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got. And we'll just quickly go and select these things and select these things. There we go. And probably have these guys primed and ready. Right there. Okay, cool. And we're going to hit launch. And yeah, so because they are weird and tilted, they will always tilt a little weird, but they do run perfectly fine. We will hopefully turn on the boosters and fire the boosters. So again, these guys are firing angle sideways, and the heat box also goes sideways, so the heat box is not straight out, it's sideways like this, and it's just gonna go, and it's gonna go absolutely crazy. And we're just gonna time stamp it through here as we go, and these are probably gonna put us into space. Yeah, these are gonna put us into space. And we say goodbye to those boosters, and we can fire these other boosters, and these will, obviously they're a bit smaller, so their burn time's a bit shorter, but yeah, they work pretty well. And these are actually based off the actual gem ones. I have to figure out how to put the gem numbers in, but yeah, and then they go. So there we go. Now, that's all the regular boosters. These are all based off of various booster types, etc. So let's get into some of the fancier boosters. Yes, even fancier than this. And if you're just wondering, the answer is yes. You can change the booster colors. All the boosters have color changing except for the shuttle variant, the solid rocket boosters versus the solid rocket motors. There you go. So we have this guy here. This guy here is the shuttle booster. You can have it where you can have one of them, or you can actually double it up, and then it counts as 2 boosters. For this, we're going to switch it back to 1. Now note that this toggle thing is a bit sticky, but if you have it set to here, it will, in the game mode, set back to the original here. So if we go like this, we can fire this booster, and it's just 1 booster now, even though it doesn't quite correct. I haven't quite figured out how to make that work, but this is a crazy workaround I figured out how to do in order to be able to stack boosters and multipliers, which in the engine pack gets a little bit insane. You've been warned. You want to see some craziness? The engine pack I'm going to show you a bit later is nuts. So this is the shuttle booster, and the reason for this is because you stick a giant tank on top and then the little shuttle. I had that running a little earlier, and it does work, but again, the booster doesn't have a lot of, the booster doesn't have any torque. So you got to be careful when you spin these things, because they will spin out of control. Like so. And you just have to basically wait for the booster to run out. Obviously, if you have the engine that you're supposed to have with this, it works quite well, but right now that's not attached. You click the booster again, and it'll actually detach. That's right. The booster will literally detach and slowly fall away. Now, I don't know if you think that's cool or what, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Let me know in the chat what you think, and if you have any questions, please ping me in the chat with a bunch of question marks, and I'll see it up on the right-hand side. So that is pretty neat, and then of course, yeah, this is falling, and as you can see, everything sort of works, and that's great. Whoops. Okay, build new rocket, continue build, because we have more boosters. When I said this pack was insane, I wasn't kidding. So, the 120s come in 3 different sizes. Basically, each size adds a extra solid rocket motor segment to it, and obviously increases in mass and in thrust and burn time. The efficiencies also go up a little bit too, so obviously using the bigger booster is more efficient. And as I said before, yeah, you could take the arrow cones off. You also have this guy. I don't know, I can't remember who asked for this, but it's 120 SRM. This is the biggest booster ever made, and if anyone looks at this and says it's twice as tall, that's because when they tested it, they only had half the size, half the height on that test unit, because the full height was insane. But this booster has the full height. Again, you could toggle the arrow cone off, and this booster is nuts. Like, this booster was theoretically designed to put Saturn in orbit. I don't know. It's, you know, it's like Artemis 1, or sorry, Ares 1, but like with Saturn. So if you want to give that a go, it's there. It's a giant booster. I don't think I need to do this test, but let's do it anyway, just because I'm sure somebody will be like, but let's see what happens. What happens is the rocket freaking burns up because there's no weight on top. This engine is insane. It's just shy of 2,000 tons of thrust. Like, how high will we get before it burns up? Will we even make 5 kilometers? I don't know. But it is absolutely insane. So, while we're waiting for this to burn up in the atmosphere, I'm going to go quickly here. I got a question. So, problems with the Artemis pack. So, with the Artemis pack, when you're downloading, you need to right-click and save the file, not just click it and then open up it as a text file, because essentially all it is a text file with a bunch of JSON data in it. Oh, we've actually done pretty good. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, so we're not even halfway done. So apparently we can get to orbit with this and not burn up. Awesome. That is a great thing. So yeah, that's the whole thing, and this is sending us into massive orbit. So there you go. Oh, I don't want to do that. Come on. There we go. So that's a giant booster. Giant booster, all the fun. And then, because we have some stuff here. Oh yeah, so we have this arrow cone. So Creasine wanted this arrow cone. This is based off the 1.4 size. And I'll just take this off for a second to show you this. This cone here comes in one size only, but if you put it on top of something, it will adjust all the way up to 12 wide. So if you have like a small pack here, where is it? Oh, I've got way too many things. But let's say this guy here, if you were to take this cone and put it on there, he'd resize there. So this is a little arrow cone that Creasine wanted. And because I was like, somebody might be saying, oh, why'd you make this? And da-da-da-da-da. You also can turn it into a shield. When I mentioned that the boosters had a tendency to burn things as they flew up, because they're quite a lot of power, you can actually use this as sort of a cool little shield on the booster. And this is an outer edge is the heat shield. I've already tested this. I don't need to, but it's there as a little bit of a surprise. But this is like the old style nose cone with the heat shield. So before we leave boosters, I've got two more to show you, and you may have seen these if you've been watching my extra video. And I say that, let me double check and see if there's any other boosters I've missed. No, I think I have. Oh, yeah, I do have this one. Sorry. We'll just quickly go this one. Ares comes in two sizes. Basically, again, adding one extra segment. And it's useful for if you're doing like, shoot, what's it called? Realistic mode, you will want to use the larger Ares booster. Okay, so these boosters here. So this booster here works exactly like the, I grab it here. Oh, I could just do it here. This works just like the shuttle booster. It sits on the bottom like this, and you can sit over top, and if you click it on the second click, it drops off. This guy, oh, where is it? Shoot. I'm going to turn that off because I had that on because I was doing tests. Cheats. Part clipping. Awesome. So to prove this, there you go. And this guy here, if you do that, he's going to block. So this is useful if you want to make a bunch of booster stacks because you can actually like stack several boosters onto your rocket, and then you have these guys on the side. The reason these guys are really cool is that these are the very, very solid rocket boosters. And this is the invisible variable solid booster because it's tight. And what these guys are, and I'll show you with this guy, is they have the arrow cone again. And this arrow cone is actually a little bit more efficient than the standard arrow cone. And it does this. That's right. You want a booster. This is a resizable booster. They both are. This guy here also is resizable. So if one of the boosters in the booster pack doesn't fit what you want, you can definitely resize and make your own booster. Now, note that while the mass is changing here, if you right click on it, it'll update the thrust, the burn time, and the efficiency of the booster based on how big and wide it is. And there is a code to this, which basically says the wider you are, I think it's the more thrust you get, whereas the higher you are, the more burn time you get, and overall mass increases a lot more. So there's a cool thing, and yeah, so this can be used to basically do a whole bunch of rocket stuff. This guy here will need to use these little separator things because I didn't want to build it with the ejection system because then I'd have to scale it up and somebody would obviously have this like fire off way off into the distance. And Crimson Saturn, yeah, and SSTO boosters. A lot of these boosters in the pack with a small rocket on top or small payload will easily SSTO, get you right to orbit. So somebody's asking me about downloading, so I will show you how to download these packs at the end of the stream because I have two spots that you can get these packs. One is the GitHub, and the other one is the Pico Space Industry Discord server. And there you go. And then another question in the chat is about the Starship parts. That's because I'm using Prime's older pack. I don't have the newer one. So I haven't tested it out yet because I've been so busy building this pack of boosters. So cone. So yes, we have the wide separator for the oddly numbered boosters. We have the regular separator. Oh, it says wide again. I'm going to go back and fix these. That's why I said it's going to be about half an hour. I'm just going to go double check things. You have the truss separator, which is adjustable. You have the old style nose cone. This will also show up at the bottom of the basic pack here. If you go down here, it shows up here. If you don't necessarily want to jump all the way down to boosters to get it, I put it there. These separators are only here in the booster pack. I covered all the different types of boosters. All right, so let's go to engines in a couple seconds. Stretch, does anyone have any questions about the booster pack? Ask them now because we're going to get into engines and things are going to go a little off the rails. Especially for those SpaceX fans, because the new engine pack does include the Bird of Prey, aka Raptor engines. And yeah, I did something crazy last night. The mods know what I did. But yeah. All right, let's jump into the engines. I probably should keep the actual launch vehicle because we're going to need that. So, there we go. Oh, dang it. Okay, we're going to build a little bit smaller rocket for the engines, apparently, because I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I don't. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So, let's go. Hi, people who are joining the chat. There we go. Cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here as I find engines. Okay, so engines are all in engines. So the very boosters are in the top of the engine pack, simply because I think people are going to use the boosters. Those are the two that are there, and I had them there and I haven't taken them out. They may or may not be there when you test out the pack, because I may remove these two variants and just leave them in the boosters. So if you've been around for a while, you will know that the engine pack has already these two guys here, which are high torque engines. This guy here, which is a high thrust, high efficiency, but it burns itself engine. It has this little guy here, which is actually RCS controlled, which is the descent thruster for the Apollo program, which actually only turns on and off. I didn't realize that until I looked it up. So this runs on the RCS thrusters. It only turns on and off. Then we have the F1, and this is the redesigned F1 that looks all fancy, which 90% of people said they liked. I may rework the older version into something else, but we'll see. This is the Jolly Tootsie, which is the J2. This is how I name things, guys, on the engines. So if you're ever wondering where I come up with these crazy engine names, the J2 and, surprisingly, the J2X, the Jelly 2 Xenon. Then we get into the Raptor pack. And yeah, these are all new. So there are distinctly Raptor packs. So there's the Bird of Prey stack. So I'm going to put the Bird of Prey stack here for a second. And then there's the Bird of Prey engine. So the Bird of Prey engine, you can turn the gimbal on and off. And you'll see here that it changes the gimbal setting. Okay. And I need to make a little fix on that. So I'm just going to go here and go BOP fix. Wait. Fix mass. So I just need to fix the mass, because normally if you go over here, when you turn the gimbal off, it's supposed to make the mass lighter because you're no longer carrying the gimbal. So I will make that quick fix on that guy. And then on the stack, as you might guess, it's a stack of engines. And you can now stack your engines. And it'll go up to an 11 engine stack with all the parameters, etc. Now, if you go above 11, you can go up to 21. But the other 21 don't show because there's a certain point where I'm just stacking engines on top of engines, and that's a mess. And then you can have the gimbal on, gimbal off. And yeah, so, and then if we want to do this, we're going to launch and all these engines are going to crash to the ground. You can click the engine on, and yeah, you have 21 engines stacked, and obviously they used up all the fuel. But yeah, so there you go. So if you want to make Starship or do any SpaceX stuff, there's a stack of engines you can use. It's up to 21. If you're wondering what to do about getting to the exact numbers, actually use the non-gimbaled engines. The extra boost gets you where you want to go. So we're going to build a new engine, and we're going to go continue rocket. So that's the engines for the Bird of Prey, but the Bird of Prey isn't the only stack engines. You also have this guy here, which is the vacuum variant, which also needs the toggle on. Oh no, this guy doesn't toggle, wait. And again, similarly, you can stack the engines with the vacuum stack. So the vacuum stack has basically, if I grab just a regular one, engine and Bird of Prey. So the vacuum engine's a little bit bigger. It weighs a little bit more, but its ISP is significantly higher, like 300 versus 240. And if you switch it to the variant pack, it's supposed to go to 250, so, or something like that. Anyway, when I fix it, it'll work. But yeah, so there's those two there. And then For those, this is the Wizard, which is the Merlin engine, and it just has gimbal on and off, and there's no stacking because I think you're only ever using one or two, and you can just put them side by side. So those engines are there, and you'll have to let me know what you think about that. But yeah, so these are good, and they work well on the 12 wide and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm moving a bunch of stuff around at once. Delete. Okay, so those are those engines there. We'll delete those ones here. We'll go here. Now, as anyone watching on my channel realized, I may have accidentally stumbled into making Delta and Ares and I think what's the other one called? Atlas? Yeah, packs, because I realized that I'd pretty much done all the hard work already. So those packs will come out with the SLS version 2. I'll probably rename SLS version 2 to something like, I don't know, all the orange rockets. But in order to finish the pack, I did have to make a couple engines. So I have these guys here. So these are the R10 engines. And I called them Eagles. I don't know why, but they are there. And this is the RL10A. This is the RL10C3. This is the RL10B-2, and this one here actually extends out. I need to add the toggle to that one, so I gotta do that one. 10-B2 toggle. Okay. And then this is the RL10C-X experimental 3D printed one, which the difference is that it's slightly less weight. Yeah, slightly less weight and just ever so slightly higher efficiency. So these four engines are very, very similar. And basically they're for people who want to recreate as accurate as possible. But at the end of the day, if you just grab one of these and go, you're good to go. So when I put the engine pack out, again, it'll probably be about half an hour after the stream, with a couple of mistakes I've been finding. Thank you, Alpha Team. The Alpha Team was really busy working on their own pack, which if they do have links to that, they will put them in the chat at the end of the stream, and you could definitely check that out. And finally, I say finally, and then I'm looking at this, how many more? Oh, no, I still have more engines. Sorry. So I have the Delta Raven engine. So this is the RS, I wrote it in here, didn't I? Yeah. No, I didn't. Awesome. So this is the RS68A. This is used on the Delta rockets, so the common booster core of the Delta. So it exists, it's here, it's amazing, it's a giant rocket, and if I slap it on the bottom of this little thing here, and I hit launch, all those other engines fall down, that's fine. And we can go, and this one goes all the way to space because, yeah, whee! So just big giant engine. Build a new rocket. Okay. And then, because you know, we still haven't run out of rockets, and I still have to double check. Oh yeah, I got these. I still have more. How many rockets do I have? Oh my god. Okay. So I'm just gonna pull them out here because otherwise I will forget. Oh my god. So many rockets. All right. So rockets. This here is the Kestrel engine. It's the NK33. But you can click it and it'll go to NK44. And this one also comes with a shroud, which then reminds me that, if I go back up here, this guy also comes with a shroud. It looks horrible, but I was trying it out. These two engines have shrouds. You'll have to let me know if I should add them to all of my rockets or not. But yeah, so this comes with the shroud, and it's basically a space variant. I can't remember if it actually changes the numbers. I think it does something. I don't remember. It just might add the extra length. Who knows? It's there. I'll double check it. But yeah. This guy here is the RD180. We're going to move this guy on here for a second because we're going to hit launch. The RD800 doesn't actually gimbal the normal way. It just changes the thrust variables on the tooth nozzles. So that's what it does. Um, I have a whole video showing you how I made this thing, with the exception of all the turbo machinery. That's just a bunch of piping. And you'll have to let me know how this looks compared to some others, because I went a little nuts on this. It's not my normal, but I thought these engines are kind of neat, and I will be making the larger and smaller variants of this, because it goes up to, I think, 250, and then it goes down to, like, I think 100 or something like that. So those two will show up. And again, this is for the Atlas project. The Atlas 5 uses these, I believe. So they're here. So when I finish the common core booster, that's what sits on the bottom. So pretty cool. Gonna check again here. Any questions? Um, okay, nope, nope, nope. Okay, we're good. We're good. The Tootsie, yeah. So I was feeling very, let's make some interesting named rockets, and that's what I had because I was eating a Tootsie Roll. That's how things get named. All right, so let's go to this last rocket. So this is the RS-25, obviously. I don't think we need to go over that one. This guy here, however, is the RS-25 tilt engine. And this one here is specific because it has tilt on it. And the reason it has tilt on it is because it's designed to be used as, and if I do this quickly, because I don't want to waste anybody's time while I'm goofing off building things here. Let's go basic and grab a basic one. Oh, there we go. Okay. It is 0.5. Duplicate, duplicate. Awesome. And then we're going to go here to, oh, we'll go 8. 8's good enough, right? There we go. Awesome. Do it that way. All right, so this one here has a tilt. This engine is quite advanced for a couple reasons. I had to really figure out how to do this properly because it doesn't normally do this in the game. Having a tilted engine, like with the boosters and everything, is a major pain in the butt. So, and we probably should just, because, you know, we have a bit of extra time. There we go. Make it like this. So, again, this booster here, the black part, you won't see it in external mode. So you won't see it in the game, but in internal mode, it'll show up. You just basically line that in the bottom of your tank. You set that like this, and we launch it like so. And this, I don't know if this is balanced enough or not, but we turn on the balanced rocket, etc. And we're actually able to use the RS-25 to control this whole thing. And what is crazy about this is that this will actually work in vertical mode by itself. I, however, cannot detach these rockets while the booster is firing, and I forgot to run out of fuel. Awesome. So we'll give it a second to stop spinning. We're going to get rid of that booster. We're going to put some fuel back into this rocket. Hopefully before we slam to the ground, we're going to detach. We're going to engage the rocket slowly. There we go. And the rocket will basically self-right itself. And we're apparently heading down, so let's go back up. I don't know if we can do this before the engine explodes. But yeah, so this engine here also has RCS on it, so you have an RCS booster. This engine is designed for anyone who wants to make like a shuttle modification, etc. This is going to be your shuttle engine. And thank you, Bob is Cool, for saying this is an amazing mod. I really hope it is. But this engine is kind of the creme de creme because you can actually use it to fly your rocket straight despite being a curved engine. Realizing, of course, that you basically have to hold down the curved version because it will try to like drive yourself straight. There we go. I'm not touching the keyboard. I'm not touching anything. I'm waving my hands in the air. It is going straight, and yet it is a curved engine. Insane. Don't ask me how I did it. It was one of those 4 a.m. in the morning strokes of genius. But if you turn off the engine, it does curve back. So when you start this engine, you do need to start it basically from zero, and then slowly ramp up the engine because it needs to actually oops, curl first. That's the only downside to this engine, is that you have to start it up at zero thrust, because if you start it at 100% thrust like this, it's gonna spin you until it has time to stabilize. And then the RS control, if we can we do it? There we go. Is a little tiny engine. It's on the RS system, so, or not the RS. I keep saying the RCS engine. So it's an RCS engine. It does provide a decent amount of thrust. It won't show up in the thrust because it is an RCS engine. It's nowhere near as efficient as the main engine, so you want to use this with your RCS system to stabilize your shuttle, not as a primary boost engine for this thing here. But it's there. So that is the craziness that it is. And these mods are going to be available a little bit later, just because I found a couple errors. So probably about half an hour or so. I think that's what we're going to end up doing. So we are going to say 2:30. So it's currently 1:45 right now. I'm going to finish up the stream, and we're going to play probably 1 or 2 rounds of Among Us. For those who like Among Us, jump onto the Discord server, because we're going to have a little bit of an Among Us game. And people will hopefully not space me just because I'm the host, or the you know who you are, voting for me even though you were sus. Just to say you could boot me off. But before we go, and I only want to say that because I just want to double check, I didn't miss anything. So there's a lot of stuff in this pack. So in about 45 minutes, it's going to come out, because we're going to play Among Us for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to jump off. You guys can continue playing if you want. Oh, yeah, and for those asking, the Orion Pulse Drive is under construction. This is the old version. The new version looks a lot nicer, and I've completely reworked it. But yeah, this is a giant pulse engine. This is the 1000 something. This has actually been quite a bit of work. It is coming soon. The goal is Wednesday. So on Wednesday's live stream, we will be showing you this pulse engine, and probably an Ask Me Anything or something like that about modding, in terms of like why I made mods or stuff like this. Not ask me how to make mods, because that's really hard to show on stream, other than in my live modding sessions. So expect to see this guy on Wednesday, and maybe a couple other things in the exotic pack. But that is all I have for you today, which is quite a lot. And as I said, 45 minutes, it'll be there. So jump over to the Discord server, play Among Us with us for a few minutes. Don't space me. And yeah, be sure to hit like as you finish the watching this great live stream. And there we go. Oh, yeah, sorry. Take 5 minutes. Is it at 2:05? Okay, it's at 2:05. Yeah, definitely watch Prime 252's video, because he's gone, and while I have the old version here, he's made a Starship pack. Like, oh my god, the Starship pack is insane. I have the older pieces. I haven't even got the new stuff yet. And it comes with its own interesting little way of doing the what do you call these things? The Raptor engines and stuff. And it's got side boosters, and I don't even know what this does. And it comes with its own freaking launch pad. This thing's amazing. Look at this. And then I think it has this. What is it? This thing here. This thing here goes. I don't know how this works. I think it goes here, because it's got a funny color. Let's go like that. I don't know. Anyway, it's all there. It's very cool. And his comes out in 15 minutes. Definitely want to check that out after the Among Us game. And I think that, I don't know how this all goes together. Don't ask me. It's not my pack. Ask him. But yeah, his pack is amazing. And if you're wondering why I haven't made anything Starship other than those Bird of Prey Raptor engines, that's why. Prime 252 has been made an absolutely amazing Starship pack, and you should totally check it out, and I'll have it linked in the comments below and stuff too. And probably at the end of this video once it's finished. So that's it. That's all. That's everything. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you on Wednesday, I think. Yes, Wednesday. Double check the time. It may be at 4 o'clock instead of 5, because I think I have this thing at 6. So goody goody. All right, that's it. I got to figure out how to turn this off.